Hello, Dazzle! Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I am glad that you were here. Today, I am reviewing the game Enshrouded, and this review is going to contain some mild spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about the game before you play it, then you'll probably want to come back to this later. But in general, I don't think that it has any, big spoilers in it. The world is full of vibrant and rich colors, except within the areas of the Shroud, where there is a dullness and gray hue to everything. This color choice gives the visual cue that the Shroud is draining the world of its vibrancy and vitality. Immediately upon entering the Shroud for the first time, I am given the impression of entering a place for the dead and the forgotten. This color impression is augmented by the ruin and overgrowth that we see within the shrouded areas. The music of the game often fades into the background and becomes subtle enough that I am no longer paying attention to it. And this is a powerful choice because when the music comes surging back into the foreground, it ensures that I am paying attention to it. And sometimes this return of the music is to alert me of the presence of a threat and impending battle. Other times it is the emotionally augment a moment of storytelling or exploration. The way that the music is used in this game is brilliant and does a good deal of heavy lifting towards setting the tone and ambiance for the game. As you progress through the story, you are presented with this world in fragments. The NPCs of the world give you pieces and glimpses of what it was like to live here before the Shroud. There are also documents scattered all throughout the world for you to read that tells you the stories of various characters as they struggled during the rising of the Shroud. You get this first story nugget upon leaving the room that you wake up in. As you step out into the world, you find a skeleton sitting on a bench with a paper next to them. This immediately introduces you to the setting, and every fragment of story builds upon this introduction. This game takes place in a fantasy apocalypse. Ancient beings gave humans the knowledge of elixir, which gave humanity the ability to use magic and made them feel more powerful. With this came an addiction of sorts that drove humanity to seek more elixir. Mining that elixir is what led to the unleashing of the Shroud upon Embervale. Turns out that the Shroud is a fungal infection that had been dormant within the earth. When they created the elixir wells, they disturbed that dormancy. The Shroud quickly moved over the world and corrupted everything that it enveloped. In an effort to save humanity, the Flameborn were created and placed into dormancy to wake at a later time to fight the Shroud. Currently, there are 6 NPCs available in the world. They're the only survivors from the time before the Shroud. The players are the Flameborn, who are created to save the world from the Shroud and seemingly didn't live in the world before the Shroud. Each NPC is a craft person that provides assistance to the Flameborn. They teach you about the world and make it possible to create the tools that you need. You're told that the blacksmith was the first person that was made into a Flameborn and that he volunteered to take that risk. And this implies that the other craftspeople also volunteered for the job in hopes of supporting those who would be fighting to save the world. We're given bits of backstory for each of the craftspeople that makes it clear that they were alive prior to the Shroud. In general, this game is not difficult. Once you get into it and become more familiar with the game, it becomes pretty easy to set up your character to readily defeat the challenges placed before them. This level of challenge is perfect for the approach that this game takes. It allows the player to focus on exploring the world and delving into the story, rather than getting overly focused on keeping your character alive. So the interface in this game has everything that I expect in a modern game. There are options to adjust the sound controls in a manner that suits you. It's compatible with both the keyboard and the controller. The piece that really shines is the building interface, which allows a great deal of both ease and flexibility. This interface is completely compatible with the controller, which is really refreshing. The best game design feature, though, is the manner in which the characters are not world-bound. And this means that I can take any character that I am playing into any world that I have access to. And this means that I can work on a world with my friends while I work on a world in solo play with the same character. Or I can play a tank build in one session, then switch to a healing character in the next, while remaining in the same world with my friends. The other really cool design element of this game is that it refreshes itself every time you return to the world. And this means that everything that is outside of your base location returns to its pristine state. There's no way that you can ever run out of a resource because they respawn every time you come into the world. And this means that you never have to worry about missing out on getting gear or fighting a boss. They'll respawn and be available to you again the next time that you play. The mix of fantasy and an apocalypse was what makes this game so different than anything else that I have ever played. There are hundreds of apocalypse games and thousands of fantasy games, but I'm not aware of any other game or any other story for that matter that has brought these two elements together, and it does it well. The story is cohesive and makes sense within its own construct. Enshrouded has left me with a strong sense of melancholy. Everything around us has fallen into ruin. Humanity has lost everything to the Shroud. In every document, you read those who have struggled to survive while the Shroud rose up over the world. But you know that they each eventually fail and fall to the Shroud. You know this because you know that the Shroud has taken everything. As a survival crafting game, there's a ton of replay value. You can play through the quests as many times as you like, you can explore every nook and cranny of the world, and there is plenty of incentive to do this as the player is rewarded with story nuggets and visual delights. There's a robust building mechanic that allows you to create very complex structures. They also provide a large variety of building materials and furniture to create with. The skill tree offers a ton of character flexibility that is worth exploring and playing with. There are numerous collectibles in the game. There are all the story fragments to find and shroud roots to destroy. There are achievements to complete. As of the time of writing this, I have put in 175 hours into this game, and I don't feel that I've used up the replay value of this game. I have yet to complete all the achievements, haven't found all the collectibles, and still have areas on the map to explore. Despite being an incomplete early access game, there's a ton of content already here, and they are promising us more. Personally, I am obsessed with this game and strongly recommend it to anyone. There really is something for every type of player and every mood that you might have while you're playing. Want to run around the world and fight monsters? This game has that and even offers boss fights to challenge you. If you're in the mood to wander and explore, there's plenty to see and a lot of story to uncover. There are even dungeons that are group-oriented that offer a really big challenge. Want to build? Yep, you can do that. There are a lot of puzzles to figure out when you go into these areas, the dungeons and the towers. Farming is even an option. It also allows you to play with your friends or solo without making the game feel that it is really designed for one or the other. It's very compatible with both. Well, that's about it for my rambling today. Thanks for coming and spending some time with me. If you like what you have been listening to, then click on that like button because it really does help. And until we talk again, you guys, be sure to take care of yourselves. Bye.